Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the MIWI Show, Multifamily Investing with Intelligence. I'm your host, Be the Buyer. I want to thank you for joining us today. Today, we're going to go over very important topics on multifamily investing. We're going to dive into due diligence and relationship building, the importance of both and how they both coincide with each other. We will dive into key factors such as household income, crime rate, job growth, schools, taxes, eviction laws, so on and so forth, to give you a nice inside view of what underwriters have to go through in order to find a property that's worth bringing to their investors, along with meeting brokers, relationship building with sponsors, and the community that you're looking to invest in. So building strong relationships inside the multifamily real estate sector are essential to sustaining success. Whether it's entering a new market or a new project, relationships cultivated with local stakeholders is important. It can make or break your venture. We'll go into depth and explain a few things that are, you should do in order to gain insight into the areas you're looking to invest in. So I believe before you can actually start underwriting deals, you can find some of them on LoopNet or Crexy, and you can find deals and just click, and do underwriting, or you can actually take the time to build these relationships, which I believe is more important than just doing numbers and collecting numbers. I believe, going out and reaching out to people and understanding their whys and their wants. This is a relationship of give and take. And multifamily investing takes a lot of giving first in order to receive. And to build relationships, it takes a lot of you putting your time and your effort into it. So first off, we'll start with understanding the whys. Why would you invest in this property? Why would you invest in this community, in this town, in this state? Your sponsors are going to want to know these questions as well. Why do you find this area appealing? What drives you to want to come here? The questions are crucial for your ability to answer because the sponsors are going to ask these questions of you, because if they're going to put their money up or their name attached to these contracts, they want to know that you're invested in the area as well as into the project with your time, your effort, knowing what the ins and outs are of that area. Sponsors and investors want to know that you have insight into the local economic drivers, the demographics of the trends in the community. They want to know that you have taken the time to actually put the efforts in before they can commit to you. As stated before, successful building in real estate is not just about getting. It's always about giving. You have to be able to give value to not only yourself, but from yourself to others, showing them that you're looking to put time and effort into building the community, because that's what you're essentially doing. You're going to be building up the community by putting more money into the area, raising the value of the area, and also incorporating the community involved in what type of structure you're looking to build for the future. These interactions can expose the nuances when dealing with tenants or tenant expectations in a certain area, specific to unique opportunities within the community or things to avoid. As we know, in all good relationships, trust is one of the most important factors. If you don't have trust in a relationship, how can I be assured that on the back end you have my best interest? So this is why I say this is a giving type of relationship. You must give yourself first before you can expect to receive anything. That's honestly how we should live life. Unfortunately, it doesn't always go that way. So take heed and understand that, excuse me, that your business is going to take you putting more into it before you receive. It's the law of reaping and sowing. The trust and the knowledge gained from these interactions will empower you. It gives you the power to present with confidence to the sponsors, confidence to your investors, knowing that, the knowledge that you gained is accurate because you were the foot on the ground. Ultimately, it secures your outcome on the investment by showing them that you've taken the commitment to push further and learn. By focusing on both the analytics end of it and the relationship aspect, real estate investments, you position yourself to be a player, respected leader in the multifamily business. And that is what we want first. We want to be respected and understand that we're coming in here to do good. We're coming in here to give a piece of ourselves and actually push for the betterment of the town, the area, the community, and not just look at it as a deal or a place where I can make money for my investors, but also a place that we can build a positive vibe for the future. So understanding that a big part of the game is going to be a relationship building. Once we've solidified ourselves as honest, trustworthy, you've got your boots on the ground, you can see the area, you can start to reach out for deals. Now, deals always come around by building these relationships because you're explaining who you are and what you do and what you're looking to do. So as long as we've done this correctly and we're honest with ourselves and other other people that we meet, usually the deals come to you. They'll present you with some options, and that's when the underwriting process really starts to take a shape. You really start to form into what we have to do prior to actually committing to anything or actually even presenting anything. So this becomes a whole package situation where you actually have to meet people first and greet and thank you and take and understand that by giving is the only way you receive. So once you've built that part, then you start receiving deals as far as you speaking to brokers. You start speaking to agents. You start speaking to the local community, the managers, property managers. And that's where you're going to find that people start to come out the quote unquote woodworks and say, hey, listen, I got this opportunity. Hey, I have this. I'd like to present it to you. Why? Because you built that trustworthy relationship. And that's where the underwriting process begins. Now, the underwriting process is intricate. There's specific team members on my team alone that actually focus solely on the numbers because it is very, very high frequency detail. And some people are better at that than others. And my guy on my team is very focused on number orientated, and that's his specific superpower, is he's able to focus in on that. So when you're doing multifamily, you want to get with the team. This is a team sport where you need people who carry their weight and they do their own. They show their special abilities. And underwriting is a special superpower that you have to understand that high frequency numbers, because it is a lot of data that comes in, and you have to quantify it all and push out a number that says, hey, this is worth it or this is not. And sometimes it takes a lot of finagling. It takes a lot of moving parts to actually gauge the actual proper way of investing in this, or what do you have to do in the future, a couple months down the line, a year down the line. It all comes to one whole package at the end of the day, from your relationship building to your due diligence. It's a hand-in-hand thing. Once you can understand that part of your team has to do certain things, everyone can build prosperous. Now, there are certain factors that we want to focus on. I'm going to go over a few of them, and then we'll dive in deep a little on more. But you would say, for me, I'm looking at the household income. You want to know if people can actually afford to, what their ranges are. Are they affording the higher end properties, or are we in the C market, or are we at B plus A? Job growth. Are more jobs coming into the area? Are they going to be expanding? Where's the cap? Does it stop here, or does it continue to rise? As well as crime rate, that's important as well, because crime rate, tenant, it kind of goes hand in hand. If you're high crime, your tenants seem to be less less desirable, and you find yourself in a situation where you have to manage more things with the property management and what we can do and can't do. It's a difficult situation. So you want to know your crime area. You want to know your crime rate. You want to know if crime is in the buildings you're looking at or surrounding the buildings you're looking at. It's important, and obviously, you can understand the factors why. There's also schooling, which is important. Obviously, if you have children, you want to make sure that the schools are up to par. So when you're going to market for people to move in, you want to see that the area is good for children. Education is important, and parents want that for their children. So when you look around, you want to look for good schools, and that also drives your income up, because better schools, so on and so forth. As well as taxes. Extremely important, because taxes too high, you can't afford to live there. And I would say more on the ends of the investor end, this due diligence comes in, because high taxes, we pay high taxes, it comes out of profit. So we want to make sure that we're in a certain range, or you're not going over. As of right now, Florida is dealing with a situation where taxes are high due to the past hurricanes, the insurance companies, and the taxes. That's another one we'll get into. But the taxes have gone up within the last few years from more people moving here, and the insurance rates have gone up from all the hurricanes and all that, so on and so forth. So we're dealing with a little bit of a squeeze out here in Florida, and it'll get better eventually in time. And if not, we'll just travel other parts of the country, finding the better areas to invest in, and you will find them. You also need to focus on eviction laws, which is important in multifamily, because your turnover is so much. You don't want to get caught up where like you're in New York and someone's in your property for 12 months. We've we've seen those videos online already where people are taking over people's houses and the owners are getting arrested for trying to get them out. That's not what we look for. We look for landlord, basically states that are landlord friendly. We want states that actually that look at us as the owner and we have rights. So that's an extremely important one, and how that impacts, our decisions, that impact our investors, that'll impact your sponsors. So that's important parts of the due diligence factor, when you're factoring all your numbers and you're trying to gauge where you should go or where you shouldn't go. So to understand the current market right now, I know the multifamily sector is kind of grappling with a high level of new supply. We've had the highest supply in decades. I believe this is somewhere from the CRE services. They're saying around 550,000 units are going to be built this year, which is an astronomical number. So we have areas like Austin, Texas, Nashville, expected to grow their inventories significantly just because job growth is so great in these states, or in these counties inside these states. So you actually have, areas that are blooming, blossoming. And then you have, projected ones that are not doing as well as they should. Like I was saying about Florida, the Florida market is facing its challenges due to the high insurance rates and the taxes. It makes the housing less affordable, especially on a profit end. And also if it's on our end, then the rents go up higher. So then we have the situation where people are almost it makes it unaffordable for the average person to afford it when the rates are so high, when everything's so up. That's another topic as well that we pay attention to. The financial markets with the interest rates being high. These things are done on syndications. These apartment complexes are bought on syndications. This multifamily are done with a group of investors, and we go and get a large loan, Fannie Mac, to cover the last part of it. We do the initial raise, and then your remaining balance is done through loans. Obviously, interest rates play a major factor in that, because with high interest rates, it becomes less available. More profit is taken away. Less profit is what I should be saying. Less profit for your investors. So we have to gauge that when you're actually doing your due diligence process and the underwriting. You want to gauge that to understand that, saying, these things play a major factor in certain areas that you're in. Now all of our sponsors are going to be well off as far as able to get, better rates. But even then, a point here, a point there, it's taking away from profitability. So you can see how the importance of underwriting is like the backbone of any deal. One of the most important parts of the deal is the analytics of the data. It shows your potential rental income, your expenses. It shows your overall financial performance, which you all know, for the investor, it is going to be their main focus. For the sponsors, their main focus is their overall performance. Will this pay profit? Will this produce profit? And you can understand why, because that is their job as well as your job to find the perfect deal by your due diligence, by your relationship building, by you actually seeing what you're actually investing in. Putting your boots on the ground is an extreme important part of this entire process. So remember, some of the key factors include your median household income. How high are the incomes? What's the capacity of rent that you can charge? Is it going to be affecting your strategy for occupancy rates? You have to take that into account. You want to take into account your job growth. Strong job growth, obviously you have higher rent. With more jobs coming in, you have more potential for more renters. This just keeps you, on the up. Less jobs, you have less rent, you have less people renting, you have less, occupancy. And that is the name of the game in multifamily, is to keep yourself occupied, as 100% as you can. We've already spoke about the crime rate and how that is, important, because areas of high crime are challenging for property managers. It leaves you with a situation where there's always something to worry about. A funny story is one of our mentors explained that, he came into a property and he walked in and there's just marijuana on the table, and it's a lot of it. And he has to go and try and figure this out when he's walking through with the property management company, like, this is my property and there's, drugs here at the time, before marijuana was legal, which it should be legal everywhere, but that's another story. But that happened. And in that situation, you have to think on your feet and figure out how to, clean that up in that area. Luckily, he used a tactic of explaining that they were going to do a training for the local law agencies, and they were going to be doing dogs and stuff like that. And they were volunteered to be one of the training agencies. And obviously the whole area was cleared out within the next few days because of that. That quick thinking on his feet, was able to sit there and, I don't know if he really did have the training service, but I do know that quick thinking saved him from, getting into a bickering match with someone in that area, the tenant, and also it alleviated a problem. He was able to solve the problem quickly. That's going to be important with obviously investing in multifamily, is solving your problems as quick as possible and preventing them from happening. Property management is another avenue, the thing we'll discuss. That's going to be the next topic, how important property management is and in certain areas. But crime rate will actually affect your property management, so that's something you want to do due diligence on. So schools in good areas always attract reputable schools tend to attract, retain families with that are family orientated tenants. And that's kind of what you want. You want to build a family environment, peaceful, security, happiness, and also, obviously with better schools, you're going to attract better families into the area because that's what they want. It supports a stable economy in that area. So when you're doing your due diligence and your market selection, obviously taxes are important. I know that in Florida here, taxes are higher when you're down close to the water, as well as insurance rates are higher closer to the water. You're going to want to make sure you pay attention to those two factors because those things are a make or break on a deal. Sponsors and investors will sit there and ask you right off the rip, and if you do not know, you're going to find yourself in a guessing game because they're going to wind up turning their other eye and not invest in your project. So with your due diligence, these are important factors. Along with the eviction laws. This is fast turnover. It could be you get in, you first buy it, there may be 10 people that leave or 5 people that you're going to evict, and you want to be able to get them out with as soon as possible. The nicest way possible, but this as soon as possible, so you can turn that over, either renovate and get it pumped back out to a new renter in there, or just relist it and get a new renter in, depending on the quality of your apartment. If you needed to do any renovations, any add-ons, value adds, this is all important when you're doing due diligence. As we were explaining before, insurance costs. It's for a Floridian market right now, the high costs are crushing us. Supposedly there was a blanket insurance policy that used to go over the whole country, and now that's wiped away, and Floridians are taking upon the 100% of it. So you're having insurance companies that are not going to insure if you have roofs that are old, if you have air conditionings that are old. You have to upgrade the stuff before getting this insurance, which is all cost. All takes away from profitability. And again, can be quantified and found to work if you get the right numbers and you're putting everything together. But with the market downturn and seeing a little bit of the interest rates kind of, still in inflation, we still don't know where we're going, even though the market's kind of deciding where it's going. You have to take that into account. Your investors are about making money. That's their jobs. Their jobs are to invest in projects and opportunities that make them profit. Your job is to find those. Do the due diligence. Find the diamond in the rough. And it's going to take your time. It's going to take your effort. Along with insurance costs, you have to worry about like we said, the interest rates, which are, astronomical right now and could go higher. So we don't know. They're calling for rate cuts, but they're saying they can't rate cut. Who knows? We're sitting here, we're in limbo trying to figure this out. So you have to take that into account whenever you're doing, your due diligence. Excuse me. So now, when you're doing your due diligence and you're doing your analytics, you want to use any advanced techniques that you can. AI is getting really intricate. You're starting to use that to kind of comb through the weeds and find those gems we were talking about. The trends, the trend lines, where's something moving to, what's going on. You want to keep your ear to that because that's important. If a new company is moving to an area, that's important. You have an Amazon building, or you have a Tesla building, or you have an oil facility, a docking station. You have a potential for job growth And that's going to drive renters to your area. Now, if you're buying a building there, it's a perfect win-win for you. So you have to look at those things. It's very important to find. Millennials are moving into these urban areas where they can drive the demand for these apartments. So that's important to pay attention to. So utilize these tools. Utilize AI to do some help with finding market trends and digging through the analytics of the numbers and all these detailed stuff, because it can help at least to maybe simplify it a little bit so you can understand it. I know the market's a little turning. The real estate game is turning a little more into the AI, artificial intelligence, and that's important because it's going to go that way. And it's going to eliminate some people's jobs, but if it's also going to create some. So people who understand the artificial intelligence and the technological use of it in the industry will succeed. And unfortunately, that's just the way it is. That's the evolution of the business, and that's the way we're going. So understanding kind of like, the whole, package together, the whole universe of it all, it's going to evolve, and it is evolving right in front of our eyes. So as it evolves, we're going to be dealing with, comprehensive due diligence deep in, whether it be technological or physical, writing numbers out, doing the numbers ourselves, physically walking properties. This is the process. It's a continual practice that has to be perfected on every single opportunity you present. And this would give you the competitive cutting edge above people to understand, and other investors to understand the blend between both relationship building and the due diligence part of this. Along with, you adding the technological advances into the future of real estate, you can really start to find these gems with ease instead of being such a restrictive process or a difficult process for the brain. So as we're setting these goals, continue to educate yourself. We use research from Marcus and Millichap and CBRE to do some analytics. We also have our own programs to do some breakdowns as far as multi-deals, which actually gives you like a full artificial intelligence breakdown of each property, helps you upload your rent rolls and stuff like that. We'll get into a little bit more of that as we go further. I'll show you, a little bit of how that works. Again, your job is to try to master these ins and outs of the due diligence, your process. And I include, when I say due diligence, I mean the meet and greets. I do mean the relationship building aspect, because that is part of due diligence. It's not separate. That can help you understand market trends, and also what's going to be the next area of growth, which again is perfect for investors and perfect for your sponsors, because that's what they're looking for. They want to know the areas that are going to be happening next, and they want to be the first one there. And if you're doing the due diligence and you're doing your relationship building and you're on the ground and you're networking, you're doing your network, you will see how much easier it is to present a deal to someone, to these investors, when you know what you're talking about, when you know the area, when you actually passionate about the area, and you can explain to an investor why do you want to be here? Why should I invest in here? And it's not just about the profit, even though they're about the profit, but it's about the potential of profit. And that's what they want to see, that you put the hard work in to actually understand your market. So that's it for today. I want to thank you for again joining me on the MIWI Show, Multifamily Investing with Intelligence. I'm your host, Be the Buyer. I thank you. If you can like, comment, repost, share your experiences, that'll help build and grow the channel. Again, this is all education. This is for the students who from the Mindset family group, and students who just want to learn about multifamily, the options that are out there, the possibilities that are out there, or should I say opportunities that are out there if you put the work in. So, like I said, invite from friends, send this out to anyone you can, share it with anyone in the business, and keep me tuned in. And as always, remember, invest with intelligence. That's the way to be successful in multifamily real estate. And keep investing, keep learning, because one day you too could be the buyer. Thanks, everybody. Talk soon.